welcome to the first annual Marketing Awards and Talent Show. And I don't know if the talent show will be annual, but the Marketing Awards will definitely be annual. And I am going to share my screen, but first I have to start the theme music. All right. And please take your mics off mute after each award so that we can clap and celebrate our marketers. And I did dress up for the day. All right, hold on. I gotta turn down the video here. Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we were planning to do marketing awards at Contribute, and obviously Contribute isn't happening right now, but we are still doing marketing awards. So I'm really happy. You guys did a great job in FY20, and we have a lot of people who really sort of stood out. And so your leaders got together and we created a set of awards that we will probably continue and iterate over time. And there will be gifts with these awards that Steph will talk about at the end. So let's get started. Oh, hold on. We don't need Jeopardy. All right, so for the first award, it is, hold on, let me share my screen. First award is, we actually have two of these that we're gonna do each year, which we call the Rookie Impact Award, which is anybody who's been here for less than a year and who's made sort of an outsized impact on marketing and at GitLab. So for the first one, I'm going to hand it off to Evan.
All right. So first Rookie of the Year award goes to Katie Ragel. And so so the format this works, we've got comments from people who nominated and comments from managers, etc. So forgive us for reading, but we will read. So Katie has been an instrumental member of our field marketing team. In case none of you have never noticed, she's always smiling. She joined us in May of 2019, having never worked within a marketing organization. And Katie's attention to detail and willingness to step in and understand a problem and help solve that problem, then immediately document and evangelize the solution has made her the go-to person on not only the worldwide field marketing team, but also within our people ops, finance, marketing ops, and corporate marketing teams. Her smile and can-do attitude are infectious, and the field marketing team would not be where we are today without her, which is very true. She created this from the get-go on her own and did a fantastic job. So thank you, Katie, and congratulations.
Woo! All right, rookie number two is Shane. I think Shane is going to present this one.
Thanks, Todd. Sorry, I was playing into the whole game show theme there. Okay, this person can always be relied on for kind, insightful, and valuable collaboration and contribution. In the short time he's led efforts end-to-end, ranging from upgrading the digital team's labels, issue templates, and Kanban boards to evolving our web testing platform to a wide range of important web and consistently exemplifies GitLab's values of collaboration, iteration, and results. It's a pleasure to recognize and sincerely thank Brandon Lyon for his hard work and team.
Yay!
Brandon.
So I am going to ask you guys to mute while the talking is going on, and then unmute for the celebration, please. All right, our next award, I think, is going to be Danielle talking about this.
Yes, I'm excited to award Darren Murph Innovation Pioneer Award. So I think y'all know I'm new here, so I did get a little bit of help with these awards, so you can try to guess who wrote what parts. Darren is a pioneer in the field of remote work and has taken the head of remote role and run with it, increasing visibility to GitLab as a thought leader in general, and especially this moment in history where we're working from home and it's becoming the new normal for millions of people worldwide. Through his tireless creativity, collaboration, and drive to spread the word, he's expanding the GitLab narrative to tell a collaboration story that's relatable to audiences, that goes beyond the developer community, resonating with the general public, increasing brand association with remote work and leadership in the field. Good job, Darren.
Yay, Darren.
Yay, Darren.
Nice job, Darren.
All right, best collaboration.
I think I have the next one too. All
Yes,
right.
I think you do.
I do. Best collaboration goes to Emily Chin. Emily Chin is the GitLabber we need more of and should all strive to be. In a few words, she's selfless, humble, and exceptional at bringing out the best in everyone around her. She takes great care with every project and person she encounters. Emily makes it look effortless, but she's constantly striving to make all of us better and creating platforms for others and our projects to shine. Congratulations, Emily.
Congrats.
All right, Creative Impact Award.
All right,
Danielle.
this is the last of me.
Okay.
Lauren Conway, congratulations. Best creative impact. Yay. Lauren, I'm so excited to get to work with you more. I think it'll be fun for you to try to guess who wrote this blurb. Lauren is a jack of all trades. From the second she started at GitLab, she immediately made it clear to everyone who worked with her we all needed to step up our games because she was going to bring it with everything she touched. Her high standards and attention to every detail have elevated our events and brought life to the brand, from a graffiti installation in Brooklyn, which was so cool, to transforming our old car dealership into a silent disco. I missed that. Digital transformation track, she infuses magic into what might otherwise be an everyday experience. Congratulations, Lauren.
All right, Dara, I think you're next. Impact on Results Award.
Yes, so unfortunately, the winner of this one is not here today. He's on PTO, but he has been invaluable in gathering and standardizing data that we've used for marketing plan, our topo model, and sharing that with the entire go-to-market leadership team. He's built out a consistent size sense marketing dashboard that we're currently iterating on still, and a topo conversion dashboard. So congratulations to Robert Conkey.
Woohoo! Robert!
Yay.
Impact to Product Award.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. That's me, Ashish. Happy to announce that John Jeremiah has been a key player in collaborating with the product management team. So John has been instrumental in shaping the way we communicate, educate, and get feedback from both industry analysts, and so just pointing them to our transparent pages. You have to sell to the analysts. You can't just say, here, go read our roadmap. And so he's been very instrumental in changing that around with his team. And our customers as well. Like as we go and talk to the buyer personas, you get the feedback, you understand what's going to work for them, what's going to bring revenue, what's going to really help them. John's been really instrumental with them. John's research validated and helped identify really key product capabilities that GitLab needs to build lovable in the plan category as well. So congratulations, John.
Thank you. Team sport, thank you.
There it is. There it is, Shane. Thank
We
you.
were waiting for that.
That was amazing.
Okay, this
Huge
next
team,
award,
thank you.
this next award is important because we recognize that it's not always easy being a marketer or anybody at GitLab that's not sort of in the same time zones necessarily as the majority of the folks. And so we're calling this the Plugged In Marketer Award. So Evan?
Yep. So please congratulate Peter Wynn for the Plugged In Marketer Award. Peter was actually nominated by a bunch of different groups because of his continued collaboration and ability to deliver and execute and get results cross-functionally. So things like running his own awareness campaigns, which he's had to do, in different airports, running field marketing events, running lead generation campaigns, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he's worked cross-functionally to execute with multiple teams throughout the org and sort of been a one-person marketing machine down in APAC. So congratulations, Peter, and job well done.
Awesome. I see that William Chi is getting ready for his talent, which I'm pretty excited about. All right, next one is the Community Impact Award.
And I'll take that one. Please join me in congratulating John Coughlin as the winner of the Community Impact Award.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Good job, John.
Awesome. All right, so John has excelled at embracing and embodying the GitLab values, practices, and culture ever since he joined the team. He consistently performs at a high level and quickly emerges as a leader within the organization. His work has had an extensive impact in our community, not only by projecting those values and culture to foster a thriving and inclusive environment, but also with impressive results. 200% growth in new meetup groups and 380% increase in new members last year. We're currently at 46 meetup groups with nearly 10,000 members across 23 countries. Not content with building the meetup program from scratch, he also created and currently leads the GitLab Heroes program with over 70 wider community members who regularly make outstanding contributions to GitLab. So thank you, John. We're privileged and really proud to have you in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, John.
Industry Impact Award.
It's me, Ashish, presenting this award. For this award, we had a lot of discussion and it was strongly debated. But I think I'm very happy to announce ITSIC to have received the Industry Impact Award. And the reason for this award was ITSIC was really instrumental behind the scenes, as a lot of you might not know, in helping GitLab rank strongly in the new CI Cloud Wave report that Forrester did. So prior to this report, GitLab was ranked as a leader in the Forrester CI Wave report, but it was based mostly on our on-premise offer. And they had retired that report and created a brand new report to replace it, and it based it on cloud-based CI vendor offerings only. As for GitLab, this was a big challenge. We have the business on both sides, but we had to really articulate our strength on the on-premise offering as well. And as one of those things, Forrester asked us to demo and showcase our offering on the new report and gave us 6 weeks. And as we were preparing for this, we thought we were well prepared. 10 days before the deadline, literally 8 or 10 days before that, they said, no, we would rather you demonstrate these 72 different things in the product and record them and send them to us. So ITSIC took charge, created, scripted, demonstrated GitLab's capabilities really strongly in those 72 different things that they asked for. And we placed really well, as you all know, and ITSIC was really responsible, one of the key players for that placement. It keeps us really in the eyes of the industry, customers, and analysts on top of the mind and top of the reward categories and top of the CI category. And so thank you, ITSIC, very much for doing that.
Woo! Thanks, ITSIC. All right, moving on to our SDR team. So Evan.
Sorry, technical difficulty, apologies. Everyone get used to me talking. I've got the next 6, so I'll try to be brief and fast. So the first award goes to our most valuable player in the commercial space, and that award goes to Lenise Sims. So congratulations, Lenise. So I'll rattle off some stats here for you. So not only was Lenise one of our highest performing SDRs this year, her expertise in the role at GitLab impacted most of the commercial team members, both in onboarding and their individual success. She's also been recognized by multiple folks this year for her thorough qualification of opportunities, implementing command of the message into her conversations, and for her help with drift optimization for the greater work. Lenise's results include 188 SAOs, of which 111 moved to close 1, which is a crazy close rate, by the way. She drove $2.2 million in pipeline in the commercial space for $833K in closed 1 revenue. So amazing job, amazing results, and congratulations, Lenise.
Congratulations. All right, large EMEA.
Yes, that is next. So please congratulate Camilo Villanueva. for winning the MVP for
Yay,
large
Camilo.
event.
We wish we were with you in Prague, Camilo.
I think Camilo is actually out walking around right now. So Camilo has he's out for a walk, so he can listen while he walks. So Camilo has always been consistent with his output, has managed many changes in both his sales alignment as well as his territory in a great and wonderful way. And we have no doubt that his organizational skills have had a large part in his success. He also helped onboard a few of the new SDRs, is often praised by his sales team, and is currently averaging 140% of his target. So great job, Camilo, and thank you.
Yay.
All right, large US.
Yes, large US. Please join me in congratulating Madison Taft, who hopefully is on the call hearing this. Congratulations, Madison.
Madison.
Since Madison joined the team in May of 2019, she's been an incredible team player, collaborator, and takes time to set aside time to work with individuals, reps across the SDR organization, facilitating role play sessions, peer reviews, etc., as well as sharing creative approaches and best practices, which I see, and she does quite often actually in our various Slack channels. So thank you for that. All the while, she's been successfully supporting multiple sales teams, and her results speak for themselves as she has personally generated over 70 SAOs for 2.6 million IACV pipeline and 853K closed won revenue. So amazing job and great results, Madison. Thank you.
All right, APAC.
All right, APAC, keep going. All right, we're getting shorter and quicker now. So please join me in congratulating Glenn Perez. This should be no surprise to anyone who has worked with Glenn. Glenn has been a staple in APAC and has gotten tremendous results over the past year, and is just all around a great guy. So Glenn has consistently overachieved in the challenging region, not only with SAOs, but also his collaboration, his results, and close won revenue. He's continually acting in the best interest of the team and helping others to succeed. And my personal thanks to him for his, helping his team on board. As everyone knows, we've gone from 1 or 2 people down there to 4, and he's been a huge piece in helping that growth and guiding his teammates. So thank you, Glenn.
And MVP acceleration.
Yes. So join me in congratulating Sean Winters for being the
Get it,
MVP
Sean!
Get it, Sean.
So I think anyone who's worked with Sean in the past understands why he's getting this award, but I'll read it anyway. Sean has been a top performer on the acceleration team from day one. His fearless approach and commitment to continuously developing his outbound process have helped him achieve the highest number of qualified meetings, SAOs, and pipeline generated on the team to date. Not only that, everyone I think sees what he does with social media as well as coaching and participating across the SDR organization. So great job and congratulations, Sean.
So Evan, hey, do you want to just remind people who our President's Club awards, they've already received their those, but just let's remind our team, we had 2 SDRs who won President's Club.
Yes, so we had 2 SDRs for President's Club. 1 came from the large sales segment and 1 from the commercial sales segment. Both of them had tremendous results in both SAO attainment, IACV attainment, and close won attainment. Anyone who's worked with both of these folks know that they're pretty amazing SDRs. So from the EMEA team, it was Anthony Seguin, and from the commercial Americas team, it was Jenny Chapman. So congratulations to both of them for winning President's Club. They walked across the stage at SKO and got all kinds of accolades and awards. So wanted to remind everybody. So great job to the 2 of them.
All right, Stephanie, tell our contestants what they've won today.
Well, as you can see on the next slide, we have amazing duffel bags and earbuds. So like it says, congratulations to everybody. Please Slack me directly your first choice preference of either the earbuds or the duffel bag. And then I'll be drawing these out of a hat to see what everyone gets, and I will be sending them to you directly.
Awesome. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, everybody. And congratulations to everyone. So let's give an off-mute big round of applause to everybody.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of clapping?
Bravo.
Oh my
All
God.
right, and now what you've all been, oh, that was cool. Look at Jeffrey. That's amazing. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, I'm learning today. So now what you've all been waiting for is the talent show. We'll just work off the agenda and we will just start from the top. Actually, I'm first. I wanted to share my screen. Oh no, heavy traffic. Try again, because I was gonna show you how you can change all the fonts to Comic Sans. So we'll go next to Emily Kyle.
Man, I was hoping you'd take longer. I was unprepared. Anyway, so it was supposed to be me and my dog, Waffles, but Waffles was up sick all night last night, so she won't be making an appearance because she's not at her best. For some of you that don't know, her name is actually Awful Waffles, and she's deaf. And so she's not usually at her best, but I'll send pictures of her, or you can see on my phone. Let's see. I'll pull up a picture of Awful Waffles. This is her. Oh, she's really cute, but she's a tear. Anyway, so I just wanted to share, since she is deaf, we've been learning some dog sign language. So I thought I'd share a few keywords with you. So the number one thing that we use when she's not being awful is good girl. So that's a pretty easy one. I think everybody could learn that. Some of my other favorite words, hang on, I made a list, or that we use frequently, are school. So you kind of clap your hands together with the palms of your hands, and that's school. I like how Todd's following along. Everyone should follow along. Another key one that we use is toy. So you use the letter T and then you go like this, toy. Another one that's very similar to toy is play. So we're like, let's go play. So it's kind of like the hang loose hands. Let's go play. Then my favorite is cookie, because I love cookies. So cookie is just, you make a plate and then you make a little kind of round ball in your hand, and that's cookie. Then next, her best friend at daycare is named Chicken Nugget. So Waffles and Chicken Nugget hang out together all the time. So I thought that was very charming. So we learned chicken, because Chicken Nugget is way too complicated to do with one hand when you're holding a leash. So chicken is you make a little kind of beak with your hands, and then you take again a plate and you're like chicken. And then since we were learning, animals, I was like, okay, her favorite game to play is dinosaur. So we learned you make like a plane and then you go like this, and it's a dinosaur walking through the field. And then lastly, I'll end on zebra, which is my favorite. So you just kind of make a claw with your hand and you do a stripe across your chest, and that's zebra. So that's all we got. If you have any more that you want to learn, I have a lot more, and some swear words when she makes me mad, so I could teach you those later if you want. But if not, then I will move on to Rin.
Well, hold on, I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Is Awful Waffle responding to this, or is this just making you feel better?
It's just making me feel better. Yeah, because this is go pee, and I just keep being like, go pee, and she just goes and eats a stick. So some things might be lost in translation.
Keep at it. She'll get it.
I'll keep trying. Yeah, it's more for me to make me feel better, but I'm trying.
All right, Rin. Are you on? Rin.
I feel like we should be clapping for these two, Todd.
Yep.
My talent really landed flat. I did not play with this audience.
By the way, I just put a Zoom hack. You can map a keyboard shortcut to mute, unmute, which is ideal for calls like this. Makes life a lot easier.
But it's, what's the hack?
You go to Zoom Preferences, Keyboard Shortcuts. You scroll down until you see one that says mute, unmute. Tick the Enable Global Shortcut, and then you can map that to whatever you want. So I have it set to Command 1. No matter what application you're in, if you hit Command 1, it unmutes. You hit it again, it mutes.
Awesome. Thanks for that. You really are good at remote, by the way.
It's a remote tip.
Imagine that.
I'll try.
I guess Rin isn't on, which is a bummer because I really did want to learn how to care better for plants. John, you're up. Oh, please be here, John.
Are we up? Are the Coglins up?
Yes.
All right, sorry. It's hard to hear. We got some musical instruments going on. Mom, you ready? All right. John, count it off.
This is
1,
amazing.
2, 3. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I got the horses in the back. Horse gives a tap. Had a track. Got the horses in the back. Riding on a horse. You can pick a sword. I've been in the valley and been up the horse. Ain't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing. Riding on the track and lean on the bladder. Cheated on the lady. You don't ask me. I'm a movie. We'll ride in the movie. I'm a movie. I'm a movie. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing. Gonna take my horse to the old town road. Ride till I can't no more. Gonna take my horse to the old town road. Ride till I can't no
Yeah.
John, my family, my wife walked in and said, "What's going on?" She was so happy to see that. She was jealous.
Oh, that was amazing.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, if you hadn't gotten an award, that would get it for you.
Oh, dude, you just redefined the term. That's a tough act to follow.
Yeah. And you also win the cutest family ever award.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. And
Look at Luke giving props. Luke knows that's tough. That's tough to pull off, ain't it, Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristen,
That is actually a very tough act to follow.
you can do it though. We trust you.
So I will actually be not performing today, but I will be providing a very typical, helpful Michael's hack. So I'll be sharing how to create the perfect gift for under $15. You just need one trip to Michael's. So you'll need your choice of acrylic paint. This is $1.60. I'm using Craft Smart in the color Light Taupe. And then you'd need something to paint with, which is a foam brush. I typically buy in bulk, so I always have these laying around, but you can get this for 99 cents at Michael's. And then next you need a mason jar. So I typically use larger ones. This is a smaller one that I actually had super glued dinosaurs on the tops and spray painted the tops as a gift. But today I would have been painting these. So another hack for Michael's is that typically a larger quart jar, which is what I usually use, is $3 at Michael's, but always go on your website first before you go into Michael's, because they always have a 50% off one item purchase.
Yes.
And I then buy the box of 12 jars, which brings your price per jar down to $1.08, which is very good. So you'd take a paper plate, your paint. You really want to put like a good amount. For the larger jars, I would suggest buying 2. And now you take your foam brush. Your first coat is really important to get a good amount of paint onto the jar. You're not going to be painting like a normal paintbrush. You're really doing downward tap motions, especially when you get to the grooves of the jar. You'll see that they have like words on them, measurements, and that's where you really need to tap in the paint. So obviously I won't be painting the whole jar, and I was prepared for that, but I just wanted to show you. This is kind of like what your first coat would look like, but in the spirit of time, I have one painted already. So what's really important though is that you need to do 3 coats of paint on your jar. That first coat, you really want to make it thicker than usual than the other 2, because that's going to be like your primer, your layer. And the final thing you need to remember is that you need to make sure each coat is fully dry, because there's nothing worse than taking wet paint onto a damp surface. It will literally like strip the paint away that you had just painted. So after your jar is fully dry, you would go outside and get, oh, I forgot to say, you need a matte finish spray, which is $8 to $9 at Michael's. But I buy in bulk, so this is a larger can, and you can get like a smaller can for like $4.
But it'll tell you how to shake it. You would take this outside. The way I spray it is I always put my fingers inside. I'd place it down on, I always do a paper plate. And you would spray each section, lifting, turning, spray each section until that is dry in 15 minutes. So I would just keep in mind though, especially if you do have families, it could be like there's some fumes. So I would probably leave outside longer than 15 minutes just to make sure the chemical smell is gone. And finally, you would take a piece of sandpaper, and I actually focus on the grooves of the jar with the sandpaper, like where the measurements are, where the design is. And you just very lightly, especially if you're using a coarse piece of sandpaper, you can see how coarse that is, and you distress it. So that's how you get a distressed looking jar, kind of like that vintage look. So here there's nothing, and I just do a few upward strokes, and that's how you get that distressed look. So finally, you would actually fill the jars. So I'm more of like, pick some flowers, put them in the jar. During Christmas, I actually will paint like a set of 3. My Nana has a holly tree in her front yard. And then Michael's has a really great like wreath filler section. They'll have like reindeers on sticks. So I'll fill all the jars up with holly. If you are looking to do this as a centerpiece, I actually use the larger jars and I fill them with baby's breath, which looks really nice. Or if you're gonna gift it as like a decor piece for the house, it's really cute to set them up in like rows of 4. You can put like plastic forks, knives, spoons, napkins. There's honestly so many things you could do with these, so that's why I wanted to share it. So thank you.
Bravo.
That was awesome. Thank you, Martha. Or Mariah. I don't know who Mariah is. That like the Martha Stewart of who's Mariah?
Yeah, Martha Stewart. Yeah, she was definitely like a crafter.
No.
I found this on Pinterest.
Dan said no.
Mariah Elizabeth. My kids watch her. She's great. She gets on like this, does a whole YouTube channel. She does all these like refurbishes squishies and stuff like that. And she's
nice.
This was like that. You could totally do it. It would be awesome.
I do love YouTube too, so.
All right, Panos, you are up. Thank you, Kristen.
So, hey everyone, this is best done on a park. So this might go very well or very bad. So I'll call the star, which is OB. Baco. So this is the star. And it's a very play-driven dog. So not as impressive as sign language. Can you see me fine? Yeah, right now. So we'll start with the basics. We're very good at the park in a living manner now. So, paw, entonces, bravo, Baco, bravo. Okay, high five, bravo, Baco, por gritarlos. And then you can obviously, I usually do this in cool places in the park, like on top of benches or whatever, something like Mina, Pardo. So he will jump up on benches. It's not as impressive in the living room, but he's typically quite good. And the last thing we've got is I'll have him step outside for a bit. So, go on. So he's outside, and I'm gonna try to hide him somewhere. And I failed. So I'll just do my last trick, which is.
Good catch.
It's usually cooler in a park, but yeah.
I'm impressed that your dog knows Greek, personally.
I do try. That's what I have.
Awesome. All right, Kelsey.
Hello, everyone. So me and my fiance Eric will be performing.
Hi, Eric.
We'll be performing a dramatic reading of the Fun Song, originally performed by SpongeBob SquarePants and Planet.
This is going to be amazing. Okay, mutes.
Okay. It's not about winning. It's about fun.
What's that?
Fun is when you, it's like, it's kind of, sort of like what is fun? Let me spell it for you. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all, down here in the deep blue sea.
F is for fire that burns the whole town. U is for uranium bombs. N is for no survivors. When you...
Plankton, those things aren't what fun is all about. Now do it like this. F is for friends who do stuff to...
Never. That's completely idiotic.
Here, let me help you. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all, down here in the deep blue sea. Ta-da!
That was amazing. Awesome. This is good. Andrew, I think you're up next. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Kelsey.
Yes, this has been awesome. I've been laughing a lot about a lot of these. So the what I'm performing is the art of Zulu pottery, and it's pretty tough to perform this in even a couple minutes, but I have somewhat of a demonstration here. This is basically the base of what would be a pot. And what's interesting is I had actually never done much hand building at all with ceramics or clay. And after about 2 years of trying to get into a ceramic studio just to do wheel throwing, I met a potter, an artist from South Africa who was basically a master of the art of Zulu pottery, which is essentially just hand-built pottery. And you take essentially a base like this, and you coil clay around your base until you've built up a big pot. So in this case, you'd have a small base, and you're basically just pinching this coil all the way around the pot, and you're building up the base of the pot. These pots take quite a bit, a long time. One pot could take a couple weeks if you get a big pot going. And essentially you're doing this for a long time. You're coiling this pot around, and then you're slowly burnishing the edges to make them smoother. And I only really use 2 tools now, and especially being in full quarantine, this has actually been a really great hobby. So if anybody wants to take up pottery, it's actually super easy to do. A bag of clay is only about 20 bucks, and you can start doing pottery. The other tools I use are the stone. The stone is basically to start burnishing the outside of the clay. Sometimes you could use oil, like olive oil or any oil really. And the only other tool I use is this wooden stick, which allows you to basically start pushing in a lot of the edges and kind of smooth out the actual pot itself. And your ideal is to basically start spreading it out and take the form that you'd like. This doesn't look like a whole much now, but after about 2 weeks of doing that, this is an example of what one piece might look like. So this is a kind of Egyptian style. This has a Egyptian hair with the water symbol. And this is kind of nice for the quarantine aspect of things, because the symbol actually means to be or to exist. And it's looped in on the second side with the same hair. So kind of the idea is it is kind of like the essence of existence together, which has kind of been the theme of being in a 300 square foot apartment with my girlfriend. And this is the art of Zulu pottery.
That's amazing, right. Andrew. I have some questions. Q&A. So that pot that you just showed us.
Yes.
So it hasn't been fired yet, right?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. It's just been burnished, so it has the sheen on the pot, because you're basically taking this rock with oil and you're smoothing out the clay for as long as you'd like, really, until it dries. So the more you burnish, the more perfect it will look. So you could spend a couple days just burnishing the whole pot with the stone until it's literally perfect. But it's not fired yet. So I'm making a bunch of pieces. This would be like a smaller piece. This is just a holder for a sponge in your kitchen. Coral themed. It's got a little starfish on there with some texture. Also not fired. So the idea is I'm making a bunch of stuff, and then once I can actually get back into the studio, then I will fire all these pots, and they will be in a bisque fire. And then from there, they'll either get put into like a raku or they'll get glazed. Kind of depends on what I decide after that.
And the coiling is what you do if you don't have the
wheel.
Wheel.
So normally you would take like a big chunk of clay and center it on a wheel and then create a pot. But obviously I don't have a wheel. They're pretty expensive. They're about $2,000. I also don't have the space for it here. So this has been a good,
it's gorgeous.
A good time to do hand building.
Cool. Thank you. Any other questions for Andrew?
Yes. Where do you get your clay?
I get it through the studio. However, I think Coyote Clay is one place to get clay. I can throw some links in the agenda. I've got a couple places that I can get it.
Yes, please.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. William, I know that you've been working really hard to get your kitchen, staged for this demonstration. So take it away.
That is so cool, Andrew. Let's flip over to mobile and see.
Lost your video, William.
Let's try this out. We got some video now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. My name is William. I'm part of the product marketing team here at GitLab. And today I'm going to show you how to fry an egg. So the first thing you want when you fry an egg is a non-stick skillet. You don't want a Teflon skillet. All kinds of problems with that. What you want is a nice stainless steel skillet. You might ask, how do you get a stainless steel skillet to be non-stick? Well, what you're going to do is heat it up. This one's preheated. You're going to take just a tad, like a drop of oil. And what you're going to do is just rub that oil into that pan. You want to coat every single part of that pan. And what we're doing is we are seasoning a stainless steel skillet. The same way that you would season a cast iron skillet, that's what we're doing here. We want a microscopic layer of oil. So when you've got that all rubbed in, you basically get another paper towel and then just wipe that out. You want that to just be a tiny, tiny layer of oil to season that skillet. Then what you're going to do is preheat your oven to 450 degrees. You're going to open up that oven and you are just going to stick that skillet right in the oven. You're going to set your timer for 1 hour and kick that off. What's going to happen is while that skillet is baking there in the oven, the oil is actually the heat is going to change the chemical composition of the oil, polymerize it, and bond it to the metal. That's what's going to create your non-stick surface. So we don't want to wait an hour for the pipeline to complete. Like any great Dan Gordon demo, I have one ready that has already been coated and has non-stick. So you want this to be a preheated skillet. The way that you know that your skillet is hot, you drop a little water in there. And what you want is you want the water to dance around on the surface. What's happening is the skillet is so hot, the bottom of the water droplet is instantly turning to steam and holding up the rest of the droplet. When it's floating around like that, that's when you know it's hot enough. Now what we want to do is we want to fry our egg in butter. The problem is if we take this butter and stick it in this hot skillet, it's going to instantly smoke up because the smoke point of the butter is too low. So what we want to do is drop just a little bit of olive oil in there. The olive oil has a little bit better of a smoke point. Get that coating our pan. So then when we put the butter in, you want like a generous dollop, like probably that's a good size for one egg. You stick that in there. The butter's going to mix with the oil. It's smoking a little bit. That's okay. We'll lift our pan up to get the heat. And that is going to give us some nice fat. Now, the next thing you want is you want a room temperature egg. The reason you want a room temperature egg is if you pull a cold egg out of the fridge, you pop it in that skillet, that cold egg is going to have two problems. First, it's going to lower the temperature of the skillet and the egg is going to stick. We want a non-stick. Second problem is the bottom of the egg will burn and the top of the egg will still be cold and slimy, so you don't want a cold egg. So I have a room temperature egg. It's been sitting out for about an hour. Normally I do this with a 2-hand crack. I'm going to try this with a 1-hand crack. We're going to see how it goes. This will either be wonderful or disastrous. Wish me luck. Hey, there we go. So that is frying in there. And I have gotten my pan so hot that it is actually sticking. This is like kind of ruining my demo here. But maybe not. Actually, look at that. That'll get going there. And we have that kind of egg frying up in the pan. That is just lovely. So what you want is you want to get it just about to there. You want to stick the lid on it, pull it off the heat, and the residual heat in the pan is going to finish cooking the top of the egg. You then take your bowl, come on over to your rice cooker, pull out some beautiful Carol's rice that you've had going there. Come on over. Your egg is now finished cooking. I broke it a little bit, but now we're just going to slide it on. I need 2 hands. And it's on the egg there. You take a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, come on over to your utensil drawer, grab your chopsticks, and you have a tasty treat. So let's see, that, ladies, gentlemen, and classy people of all genders, is how to fry an egg.
Hey.
Awesome. So pro.
Thank you, Alton Brown. That was amazing. Awesome. And I'm hungry now. So Newt, no Pyrex, huh?
I ran out of time. I put all my energy into the cat one, so we can.
Okay, we'll hit you back up here in
Yeah,
the cat one. Sarah, you're up.
Hi. So my talent is breathing. And you're probably thinking that's ridiculous. But actually, I'm an expert breather. I've been breathing since the mid-'80s, actually. But more importantly, I actually learned how to breathe the last weekend of February. So for those of you that don't know, I am in the process of becoming a registered yoga teacher. And so I went to my first weekend class in February, and I thought I was going to learn inversions and headstands and how to sequence. And I spent 20 hours, 20 hours learning how to breathe and how to stand. So I thought, given this forum and the reason we're all here, because there's this virus that literally takes our breath away, I thought maybe I would teach you how to breathe today. So if you want to join in, you can put your feet on the ground. If you're sitting or you're standing, just make sure you're like firmly rooted into something. And then close your eyes. Let's just try to be as present in this as we can. And then take one hand and put it on your chest, and another, let me back up a little bit, and another and put it on your belly, like right here, right? So we're like that. When we breathe in, we want to think the word sa, S-A. And when we breathe out, we want to think the word ha. So let's try it together, right? Something like this. So you would have thought sa. And on your exhale, so we'll do that 3 times all together, okay? So hopefully you've calmed down a little bit and you've learned something that you can share with your children when they're having a hard time sleeping. You can cuddle them close to you, or you can cuddle them in the bed, and you can use your breath to calm them down, your partners, your pets, and hopefully we've learned a calming breath that'll calm the BS in your life, the background noise and the stress. And if you want to follow me on my journey of becoming a yoga teacher, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter or my website, remoteyoga.io. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Wow. Peter.
Hello, everybody. Wow, that was great. I'm actually also a big fan of breathing. There is a book actually called Breathology out there. I have still to get it, but awesome work, and I will definitely follow you. And again, tough act to follow, but what I'm going to be talking about, and I'll set the timer not to be talking for too long, is about watches from the vintage point of kind of investment and what makes me tick in that kind of sense. Well, so what gives value to watches? There's a couple of things. First of all, there's a thing, well, the brand, obviously. So
I have another friend who is a big collector, and there are some, especially for example, Rolex models and higher up models that there is a waiting list for. So you have to wait months or weeks, well, in some cases years, to just get a specific model. And when you get them and walk out the store, they are practically worth more already. And with time, of course, this kind of increases. Popularity, obviously, and the kind of models that are maybe not available anymore due to discontinuation of its manufacturing. And obviously complication and function/features. So just to name a couple of functions, obviously calendar, day, date, GMT or world calendar, which is very useful if you're traveling. Power reserve, and one of my personal favorites is the bezel with which you can kind of time yourself. It's kind of like an egg timer, so that's very practical. You can use it for a 10-minute break, etc., or whatever you want to time. And then, of course, it's kind of like a feature, not a function. It's a display case back. I'll be showing you that shortly. And rarity. So, for example, I actually said already, if it's discontinued or a limited edition piece. And of course, there is the kind of the discussion, the need versus want. So we all do not need a watch in this time of age, digital age. Everything is on my iPhone, but it's kind of more the want and the art side of it that people appreciate, and that kind of determines also the value of a watch. And talking about value a little bit more, there is I linked it actually to the doc. There is a site. It's called Chrono24. Where you can actually upload and track your watches, like stock market going up and down. And actually, I did that with 3 watches, and I will kind of demo or intro them to you just quickly. So let me just see if I can get the camera just a little down here. So yeah, this is of course where also the Tanuki leaf lives. And yeah, this is these two are actually, so there's the thing, tool watches versus kind of dress watches. So these two would be the tool watches, and this is in particular, it's a Seiko. I got it off Amazon, and it's worth actually right now 14% more would I be selling it as a pre-owned piece. So that's pretty neat. And this is what I was mentioning to you. I don't know if it's visible. So here you can see, for example, the minute hand, and this is the bezel. So I just turn the bezel. Of course, it's unidirectional. If you're diving, you don't want that to be kind of messed up. And you see, I just put it here, and I go out for a 15-minute walk, then I would be knowing precisely how much time I did spend. Just another one. This piece is very interesting. It's a Swiss-made Oris watch. It's still an independent watch brand, which is a big thing because most brands, Omega, etc., are all owned by the Swatch Group, and there's 2-3 other groups which own all the brands. This also has this function. And I'll just show you this is what we mean by display case back, so you can actually see the heart of the watch beating, so to say. And this one I got in Turkey at the airport, 37% off, I believe. So that was a good buy. And actually been having this watch on my vision board for like, I don't know, 8 years now. And now I came across it and I was ready to pull the trigger. So you have to be prepared and look out for it at airports, for example. Yeah, I'm at 4 minutes, so I'm just gonna skip these, but yeah, I enjoy talking about watches, as you can see. And my why is actually kind of appreciating the engineering and the craftsmanship behind it. And it's actually a fun way to store value and have fun while doing it. And just the last thing, like Patek Philippe says there, you don't ever own a Patek Philippe, you just look for it after the next generation. And just another link that I left in the doc is actually a very fun video about Tanuki. And actually, Tanuki being a Japanese folklore hero, maybe we could make a collabo with Seiko and you know, make a Tanuki commemorable watch. And I'll stop here. Thank you very much for your attention.
That's great, Peter. There's a couple of questions. Newt, do you want to verbalize your question?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of secondhand shopping and thrift shopping, and I do pick up watches when I find them because they're cool and I don't want to pay full price. So I have picked up a few, and I have like a jewelry cleaner, and I've used that to clean my watches. But what do you do if the glass is really scratched? Is there a way to fix that?
Well, if the glass, yeah, unfortunately I have some. So these come with sapphire crystal also, so they're not really scratchable, but they do get scratched sometimes. I would Depending on the value of it, you might have to change it, because with the scratch, you cannot really do anything. On the steel surfaces, you can polish it out, but not on the glass, unfortunately.
Do you know enough about watches, like where I could send you the watch that I have and you could tell me if it's worth maybe taking to somebody?
Absolutely, just Slack me and we'll take it from there.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
Do you what is the definition of a complication in the watch world? Because I've always heard that term, but I don't really know what it means.
Definitely. So a value can be, for example, maybe this one I can show you. It also has some, they say jewels in there. Of course, these are synthetic jewels, and these are for the moving parts, not to be, for it to be having for the long term. That's why they have jewels, and jewels also make it more complex, more complicated. And as you see here, for example, complication, this watch has it's called the sub dial for the calendar, and it has a power reserve. So these are two complications, for example, or GMT or world time. Those are, again, complications. And the more complications you have in one watch together, of course, that drives the price up, I guess. And of course, you need to have a reliable brand. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Peter. That was great.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well done. Jake, you're up next.
All right. So I apologize. We had an earthquake last week and my internet's been a little shaky, no pun intended. So you would expect this to be silent, but I have to tell you, I'm going to admit right now, I'm a retired mime. So you're talking to the 2002 Utah State pantomime champion. So I feel like I've got the background to teach you something fun. And just so you know, I leave these all over the house. You can see on the bed here, there's the dog, but also I've got all my pantomime gear just laying about. My wife, it drives her crazy, so it's outrageous. Anyway, I keep my rope hidden in a bag, a real bag. I don't have a mime bag, it's on the bed. So my wife gets really mad when okay, there we go. You all have one, by the way. Everyone has a pantomime rope, and I want you to use it today. So the first rule is to rope climbing, and I want you to do this together because you all have a rope. I mean, look at your desk. You'll find it quickly. Did everyone, oh, see, Joyce has hers. Excellent. Perfect. Everyone's finding a rope. See, everyone has a pantomime rope. You have a whole gear bag if you need it. Anyway, hold on. There we go. Okay, good. All right, I'm squared off. So anchor your hand and create the rope. Are we good? All right, you got to show hand strength. Perfect. And then grab the other part of the rope. Okay. You kind of have to realize where the rope's at here. And then you got to give it some weight because it's, it immediately gets stuck in the ceiling, which they do, classic pantomime ropes. And you're going to start climbing the rope. Oh, you got to lift your whole body weight. Oh, it's not easy. Oh, see that? And then look, you can always go back down, which is what, anyway, what I was thinking we would do is a great way to get out of meetings is just to suddenly be in the meeting, pull up your rope, and this is if it's a bad meeting, and just kind of pantomime yourself out of the picture.
Can we end the next marketing meeting that way, Todd? All of us pantomiming.
So there you have it, the art of pantomime rope climbing. I'm glad you all have your ropes. Thank you for that. And maybe next year's talent show we'll learn how to build a wall or a box.
Brilliant.
You also win the award for demonstrating transparency. So thank you for that. Joyce.
So back when I was 13, one of our English teachers was telling us how when they were young, they always had to memorize poetry and nobody memorized poetry anymore. And my girlfriend and I immediately rose to the challenge and decided the poem we had to memorize was Jabberwocky. If you're familiar with it, from Lewis Carroll and Alice in Wonderland. Most of the words in there are nonsense and made up. So it was a challenge for two 13-year-olds to wrap their heads around these. And I always maintained someday I would be able to perform. So thank you. I have been waiting since I was 13 to do this. So This is my world debut, so here we go. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogroves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by a tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, burbling as he came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through. His vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with his head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, Callooh, Calais, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogroves, and the mome raths outgrabe.
That was awesome. That was amazing.
Loved it.
Thank you.
Wow, this keeps getting better and better. So, Matthew, you're up next. Matthew? Anybody seen Matthew? All right, Newt, maybe Matthew will join, but Newt.
Okay.
Jeffrey.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Matthew dropped the ball.
So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to teach your cat to sit, and I have a little presentation that I will share my screen if you don't mind, Todd. Share. All right. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to teach your cat to sit, but first a quick introduction. I'm Newt. I'm on the MPM team, and these are my 3 babies: Ulysses, Yuli, Eisenhower, Napoleon, Ike, and Lafayette, Laffy. So first, why would you want to train your cat? It's cool. You will definitely have some bragging rights. Maybe you can post it on Instagram if that's your thing. It gives your cat a salary or reward instead of a bribe, and it builds your cat's self-esteem, which is hilarious but true. But first, keep in mind, some cats are just not into it, and you can't force a cat to do anything. This is a picture of Laffy. He does not do tricks. He doesn't care. He will not do it. So how to start? Pick a cat that's food motivated. Pick treats that are going to work. If your cat doesn't like fish, using a fish treat is probably not the best idea. If your cat doesn't like green beans, using a green bean is not going to work. But you will be able to tell right away if your cat's like, ooh, what's that? You want to get your cat's attention with the treat, and you want to hold the treat in your hand. And usually what you want to do is kind of move your hand up, and your cat should be on the ground. You want to move your hand up and back. The cat should eventually sit down naturally because they have their head tilted up, and the natural position for them is to sit down. So what you want to do is say sit and instantly give your cat the treat and positive reinforcement, like good job, and a head pet. I tend to talk to my cats in like a very high-pitched voice because I notice that they like that. So I'll say like sit. And then you want to repeat this multiple times, obviously. And every single time you repeat it, you want to say sit and give the cat a treat. You want to repeat this over and over again with a treat. You're not going to want to stop giving them treats and like do it more maybe every other time until they're like well established with this trick. So what if it doesn't work? I read somewhere you can try and like put your hand behind the cat's bum, not like push it down, just kind of put it behind. And try holding the treat like really high up. So because they'll want to look at it, they'll tend to kind of sit down. And also try and hold the treat behind your back. I've definitely done this, and my cats will just wonder where it went and will sit down. So what you don't want to do, you don't want to force a cat that's not into it. Like, it's just not going to work. You don't want to push physically. You don't want to push the cat's butt down, because that could actually hurt them, and it's just not a good idea, and the cat might bite you. And you don't want to give too many treats, obviously, because then you'll end up with this chunk right here. And this is IQ, such a chunk. And you don't really want to use your treats as bribes, because that just doesn't really work either, and it's a cat. So I did want to share, and I noticed I wasn't even in present mode. Wow, I'm terrible at this. A video of, does this work? Never done. Cool, it's not working. Oh,
there it goes.
There it goes. Hold on. So.
Oh, it worked.
Yeah. So Yuli is my best student. He's really smart. I could tell right away that I could train him, because he's just a troublemaker. He wants to like get treats all the time. And so Yuli's been trained to sit for years. And so I can tell him to sit without having a treat. He'll do it. All right, let's try and see if this video works here. So he'll just sit automatically, like he just knows. Oh yeah, and he was being extra yesterday. And there's Ike. So the fun story about Ike is I didn't actually teach him how to sit. He saw Yuli sit and get a treat, and so he just emulated that behavior. So other things you can do, you can teach hand commands. So that worked really well for me. So when I have my hand up like this, they know that that's sit, even if I don't say sit. Obviously, teaching your cat's name, that's probably the easiest thing you can do. Every time you feed your cat, say their name. And I don't call my cats by their long names, because Lafayette is a handful. Eisenhower, I'll just say Ike or Laffy. You can also teach stay, come, and high five, but I have not mastered these yet. So yeah, we'll see. And yeah, good luck. Ask me if you have any questions, and then please send me videos, because I love cats.
Good job, Newt.
Thank you.
All right, we have 20 minutes. So, Daniil.
All right, hey everybody, commercial SDR for the West. I want to thank everybody for bringing their talents. This has been awesome. I'm going to take you all back to February 1944 and play some In the Mood. Let's see how this goes. It's got to connect to the Sonos here.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
That was amazing, and I'll bet your neighbors really appreciate you this morning.
It's at 8 in the morning with the dogs.
Thank you for that. All right, Emily.
My talent is not really a talent, but a useless trick. And I want to encourage you all to find if you can do a useless trick like this. But in high school, I did a speech on shrimp. And in that speech, I learned I can do a dolphin sound. So the next year I did a speech on dolphins. And this is the sound. Oh yeah, if you're wearing headphones, you may wish to turn down the volume just a little bit because I can't control my volume. And that's it.
Do it again.
That was amazing.
Do it again.
Do it again. Do it again.
Do it again.
That was really good.
Well, the foster dog's freaking out. It's okay.
We're freaking out too.
Yeah.
That was literally awesome.
That's like the best dolphin sound I've ever heard.
I didn't expect that at all. That
It
was
literally
awesome.
sounds like you pressed a play button.
We need to record that and work it into a campaign somewhere. It becomes like the Tanuki sound.
How do we integrate that into our marketing?
All right, Fern, you're up next. Oh, please, popsicle jokes. Fern? Not here. Dara.
Okay, so I have two different things that I'm going to fold for you that will come in very useful. If you are all dressed up like Todd is today and you're having people over for a dinner party and you want to do something different with your napkins, you fold it in half. So just a regular napkin, fold it in half. And then you start making little folds just about halfway through. So show that to you both sides. And you fold it so that the fold is inside. This is really hard to do. And then you're going to flip this side just over sort of into a little triangle here. Turn it around, and then you set it down. This is harder to do. Let's see if I can set it down.
You're muted, Dara.
You're muted, Dara.
Oh, seriously? Did I just mute myself?
You're good now.
Yeah, we heard you at the beginning.
Okay, okay. So back again, sorry. It's on the outside, you flip it around, you put it down, and then I'll see if this will work. And can you see that? No.
Oh.
So it looks like a little flower when you open it up, and it sits just very nicely. And I will tell you that I learned this at a restaurant, and we got so good at them that you would actually just start folding them and you'd throw them on the table and they would just all, like, you'd be doing it so fast. So anyway, all right, that's one. The other folding trick has come in very handy. Even I will tell you, when I was at the Camino de Santiago in Spain, and there is that wine fountain that's outdoors at the Bodega Serache. And you, of course, want to try the wine that's free, but it was closed. So we had no cup, we had nothing to do. So I went, I will get a piece of paper. And if you fold the paper, you're going to want to make a square. And the easiest way to do that, I just had it like an 8 by 10. You can use anything, but you basically want to come up with a square. So if you fold it and you have this excess, very easy to just get rid of the excess. If you lick the end, it makes it very easy to tear. Okay, so now you just have a square piece of paper that's folded in a triangle, and you are going to want to fold it in here, fold another one in on the other side of it. On the top that is loose, you're going to just fold down each side. And voila, you have a cup that you can pour liquid into and drink from. And my daughter reminded me that when they were kids, I used to do this and freak them out all the time because they'd be thirsty, and I would like try to be giving them drinks, and I would just be making cups, and it impressed their friends as well. So there you go.
Perfect for boxed wine too. Awesome, thank you, Dara. Tracy, this is timely.
I cannot follow that up.
That's the best thing, Dara. Thank you. Okay, so hello, pulpits. I'm actually in the kitchen with Tracy today, and we are going to take care of your dry hands because everyone has been washing them so much, they're probably scaly and yucky now. So what I'd like to tell you is, years ago, I decided that I needed to make homemade products because all the stuff you buy in the store is generally got petroleum in it. A lot of times that leads to things like blood cancer. You don't want that. So what we're going to do today is make homemade hand moisturizer with things that you can actually eat. So everything in my kitchen is like organic. We have organic coconut oil. We have shea butter. You have a good quality olive oil. We have organic French lavender. And there's some Dead Sea salt, but we'll talk about that later. So I actually have what I make at home for like holiday products for my kids and family is Tracy's Cut the Crap body products. Labels and everything, and it's stuff that you can use and things like spray it and you're nice and moisturized. So I'll show you how we do it. First of all, you're going to start with the base of coconut oil. This is about 1/3 of a cup. Here, this is going to make a small batch, but about 1/3 of a cup of organic coconut oil. And then I have 1/4 cup of the melted shea butter. Now, normally I do this on the stove, but for time's sake, I microwave them and they're ready. So your shea butter. Shea butter is really great. And all these things you can buy off of Amazon. Well, when Amazon delivers again, but shea butter is really great because it has some benefits to like UV protection. It soaks in your skin very well. It helps with some joints issues if you've got pain in your joints. There's a lot of things. You should read up on it if you don't use it. Olive oil. So here is 1/4 cup of olive oil. The really good thing about olive oil is that it also keeps the coconut oil, if you use it in the right proportion, from getting too congealed again. So it keeps it, the whole process kind of liquidy. And olive oil is so good for anything, but use good quality stuff. And then I'm going to add in, because I like the combination of lavender and lemongrass oil, I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of the dried French lavender. And then you can add to your own preference. This is lemongrass essential oil. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll put the whole thing in there, whatever. All right, so we're going to mix those up really well. And by the way, make sure your hands are clean before you start with this because you don't want to have any contaminants in this as it goes. So when you get all done, you can put it in any sort of recycled container that you'd like to use. And this is kind of what it looks like when you get done. It may separate depending on how you did this, but you can stir it back up again and it smells wonderful. And you can also add in, if you want to make a scrub to kind of get rid of dry skin, you can also add in some Dead Sea salt. The proportion is about 1/3 of the container should do this, and you can put it in a sealed container when you're done. So this is what it kind of looks like when you get all done. But when your skin is kind of damp after you've washed it, it will make everything feel wonderful, silky smooth, and like the south of France. So there you go. And I hope you like that.
I have noticed that Mark has super supple hands, so it makes total sense now.
Tracy, can you post the recipe on the doc, please?
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, Philip.
Hey, everybody. So sorry if you hear Irish dance music blasting in the background. My boyfriend's teaching virtual classes here into dance school. But as far as my talent goes, I was a trumpet performance major in college, and this is the internal monologue I hear when I'm waiting for a prospect to pick up the phone at GitLab. So here we go.
Awesome. I've been replaced. Awesome. Sounds good. And you know, next call, I'd like to see the Irish dancing as well. That would be pretty amazing. Shane, you're up next.
Hey y'all, Shane Rice, growth marketing. So my kids always joked if we were homeschooling them that we would put a sign out front that said Jen's House of Learning. That's my partner's name. So this week they made a sign that says the Rice House of Learning. And then that was my 12-year-old made that. And this is something my 2-year-old painted. It's her first acrylic work. Really happy with that. And then I'm gonna let Graham share something he made.
It's a COVID-19. I made a COVID-19 comic.
Hold it up to the camera so they can
Oh,
see.
wow.
And then on the next page, he's got he drew the COVID down here, and like what the virus looks like. And then my 12-year-old wants to share something she made. Tell them what it is.
It's a little thingy I did with spray paint, and then I did the background like 3 or 4 times before I decided this.
That's awesome.
So
Beautiful.
that's the art from this week. Thanks, y'all.
Yay, love it.
Art show a week. That's lucky. Soumya.
Hey, good morning. Let me share my screen. Thinking about this, I should have made a cocktail considering the time of day it is, but can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see.
Okay, so this is recipe for Dalgona coffee. It's apparently trending big time on social media. It originated in South Korea and was made by somebody who was in lockdown, and just to pass time, they actually started making this coffee. It's nothing but a cold coffee. So I thought I'll take a stab at it. I couldn't do a live demonstration, so I took some pictures. So very simple: 2 teaspoons of instant coffee powder, tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of hot water. Whip it till you see the peaks. Fill a glass with ice, add milk, and add the whipped coffee to the glass. I'm not great at taking pictures, but then at the end, just put your feet up and relax. That was me today afternoon after I made the coffee.
That was great. Soumya, can you post the presentation?
I will do that.
Okay, great. Awesome. All right, I'm up next. We're getting to the end here. So we're going to do a full body. Ruby's going to show us how to do a full body dog workout. So let me get the camera set up correctly here. Oop. All right. So first of all, come here, Ruby. We're going to do doggy push-ups. So sit, down, 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 sit, down. Well, that was one. We got one doggy push-up in. And now we're going to learn how to walk on a treadmill. All right. Okay, Ruby, heel. Heel, heel. Heel. Good girl. And once you get going, you can stop and Ruby will continue. Because dogs need lots of exercise. And that's the full body dog workout.
That was awesome.
Hey, Ruby.
We all love the short.
Yep. Sid, you're up next.
Yeah, thanks. I got some, I'm also good at embarrassing myself. I do it in public. So I learned how to program again because I haven't done it for a couple of years. And I did it live on Twitch in a programming languages I sometimes didn't even know. So that was interesting. So you want to view those Twitch videos, you're more than welcome to. But my friend said I raised the bar for Valentine's Day. For anybody interested in that, I want to present that. I made something super nice for my wife for our anniversary, which is 2 days before Valentine's Day. And it was 20 years together, and we were having dinner with a lot of our friends, basically all our friends in the US, like 30 people in a super fancy restaurant. But I was like, this is kind of too sweet. I gotta compensate, because like the best thing is a burger which has a bit of sweet and sour and fat and everything. So I'm like, I gotta play some mind games. So I purchased something at Victoria's Secret, and I asked for the biggest bag they could possibly have, and I came back with that bag home, and I put that in the hallway so Karen would notice it. And Karen saw that bag, freaked out, because who wants to unpack underwear in front of 30 of your friends? So she went to the Victoria's Secret website looking for like, what could it possibly be? Didn't say anything to me. And I arrive at the restaurant again with the big bag in tow. And then I have her open up the bag, and I ask her to read this out loud. I'm not going to give you lingerie for our anniversary, but I thought it'd make you funny to presume that. I got her a photo workshop, but I also put in some letter size printouts at the bottom of the bag. Please give them to our friends and turn on the speaker. And what the speaker played was in the document on 28. You can find the lyrics, and it's a song. I didn't make the song. I can't sing. I can play an instrument, but I can write. So I wrote the lyrics. They're in Dutch, so the English translation doesn't do it justice. But it's set to one of my favorite songs from Coldplay, set to a zouk beat, which we can dance, and it's about our life together. And all the guys were like, well, this was nice. Now I don't have to buy dinner for Valentine because this was a great dinner, but you kind of set expectations for our 20-year anniversary now, and not so thanks for that. So it was great. And Karen was glad she didn't have to unpack the underwear. So it was a lot of fun.
And the song's on Spotify, so we should put the link in.
I do want to take 30 more seconds to say, hey, first of all, Todd, thanks for putting this on. Second, thanks for all the work the Marketingist team has done in the last year. It's been a wild ride. We're growing really fast, and we're doing a lot of things at the same time. And also, thanks for all the changes. Due to the pandemic, we had to change a lot. We have to kind of change our marketing approach. I think of all divisions of GitLab, of all departments, marketing has to change the most. And I think it's awesome to see how quickly we're adapting to that. I'm really proud of our marketing team for making these changes so quickly and using all the opportunities that we have so efficiently. So thanks for that.
Thanks, Sid, and thanks everybody. Let's give everybody a big round of applause.
Talking, I can hear it, but that might be me.
Sorry, ready?
It's me. Not sure what.
Thank you.
Oh, there's Llama Fern.
Hey, sorry. All
right, y'all. Everybody have a great day, and thank you for participating. That was really fun. So, talk soon. Bye.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Yeah.